In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the Super Console X stick. Now, for all intents and purposes, this is pretty much the same thing as the Super Console X Pro, just in a different form factor. Now, the Super Console X console itself has arguably been one of the most popular emulation console devices out there on the market in the last year. So it makes sense that the company would want to kind of recycle and reproduce and upgrade that existing platform for different configurations to, increase the longevity of the product life cycle. But what you get when you order this, retail price around $120, depending on where you get it. I'll put product links down in the video description box below for various different retailers. Price goes up, obviously, if you want a bigger SD card, because this does come with an SD card that is preloaded with thousands upon thousands of games. If you want tens of thousands of games, then you'll pay a little extra for a bigger, larger SD card. However, in the box, let's go ahead and check it out. We get the device itself, very small in form factor, HDMI connection, 2 USB ports on the back end side of it, a micro USB port for power, and then an SD card slot here. We got vented slots here for cooling, but overall, it's a pretty small device. It's basically the same size as a Fire Stick from Amazon, so if you're familiar with that, you'll be very familiar with this. And we also have an HDMI dongle adapter, so you can plug this in to this, and then plug this into the TV, and you're asking yourself, why would I even need an adapter? This has an HDMI in. Well, the fat body of this bad boy would make it a little cumbersome for some televisions to be able to input it, because this part right here would likely hit the TV. Plus, a lot of TVs, you're gonna find that this wide body is gonna cover up both HDMI ports if you've got more than one. So something like this is gonna be your solution to that problem. Just plug it in there, and then this works just fine. Also in the package, we have 2 PlayStation 2 style controllers. These are very lightweight. There's no rumble or anything like that, so immediately you'll pick it up and notice it is extremely lighter than what you're expecting. Got a little patch here on the back where we have our dongle for the wireless connectivity of these controllers, but overall, I mean, they'll get the job done. There's nothing to write home about as far as being PlayStation quality, but they'll do the job. And then underneath the package, we also have an air remote, because this also does run Android software. So if you wanted to run the Android platform, you can use this air remote, easily navigate around with the menus. Then we have included USB, micro USB power connection cable. Then we have a USB hub, so you can plug in multiple USB devices if you want to play multiple controllers. Big fat USB power brick if you want to use that for the wall adapter, and of course instruction pamphlets and everything else. But this says it plays smoothly 80 different emulators from PSP, PlayStation 1, Nintendo 64, Dreamcast, Neo Geo, Sega, MAME, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Game Boy, Mega Drive, Super Nintendo, and Nintendo. So without further ado, let's run it through the paces and see how it performs.
And one of my absolute favorite features of the Super Console Stick is the fact that the USB ports on the back do support your own USB controllers. So if you don't like the stock PlayStation 2 knockoff controllers that we got on here, they are wireless, which is great, but it does, require AAA batteries, and I don't want to be using batteries. If you want to plug in your own USB controller gamepad, you can, whether it be a fight stick or whatever, absolutely can, which is a great feature. As far as the user interface, it is very easy to understand, easy to use. You got a picture of the system, as well as a listing of how many games you've got available. You can add your own games to this system. All you have to do is pop out the micro SD card, put it in your computer, load your ROM files under the appropriate folder, and then you're good to go. But as you can see, we've got loads and loads of games, tons and tons of options. If you want to go into the options and change things, you go ahead and hit start. Brings up your main menu, your option settings. You can change the user interface. So there's 3 preloaded themes on here. You got a pixel theme. We got this one. We'll go ahead and change one real quick just to show you how it works. Loads it up, and then we'll see a new theme. Doesn't really change anything else other than the aesthetics of the menu system. So if you just don't like the stock one that you got right out of the box, you can see now we've got a more graphically pleasing, I guess you could argue, demonstration for the user interface, where we've got a character from the games sitting there in the background. And then again, we've got our titles. Again, hit start. If you don't like that, go back to the user interface settings, change it back to whatever you want. You can load your own themes. And under the options, there's so many more things you can change. A lot of these games obviously will have their 4:3 aspect ratio, so you'll have borders on the sides. If you don't like that look, you can either change the aspect ratio, get rid of the borders altogether, or you can change things like save states, rewind features, all sorts of great options underneath here. Now, I did go all out and I got the fully loaded SD card. So as you can see, we have over 50,000 games on here, which is absolute insanity. Tons and tons of systems, tons and tons of games, far more than any human being absolutely needs, but there's loads of great games to play on here. So it's definitely absolutely perfect as far as plug and play solution. Lots to keep you busy for sure. Now, for some of the more advanced, newer system, things like Atomiswave, Naomi, Dreamcast, there's definitely some hand-picked games that have been loaded on this to make sure that those games perform the best on this emulation device. Doesn't mean every single Dreamcast game is going to work on this device, unfortunately. But the ones that are hand-picked, hand-selected to be put on here do run well. The only issues I have found are probably maybe 1% of the games on here, and that is a couple of Nintendo 64 games were running a bit sluggish. Naomi did have a hiccup or two, and then PlayStation Portable. The rest of the systems I've tested thus far, obviously there's over 50,000 games, so I can't test everyone, but I would say the vast majority of them all perform exactly as you would expect and anticipate, so that is a good sign. Let's check out some of the emulation.
Ready, break! First down! First down! Finish! Come on!
This is a great option for those of you looking for a plug-and-play solution to play a lot of your favorite retro video games. It takes away all the headache and the hassle of trying to find the ROMs, the emulators, and doing the configuration, the setup, which can take hours, weeks, days, months, depending on your technical prowess. However, there is some weirdness to this. It does offer the dual boot for Android. However, I just don't understand what kind of customer base is probably looking for that. Because honestly, if you're looking for an Android TV box type of thing, there's better options out there that do that type of thing. And if you're looking to play Android video games specifically, again, there's other options that do that better. It is a nice little perk, I guess you could say, that it does dual boot into that Android software, but I don't think it's going to be something that most customers are after. So therefore, we're just going to focus on the emulation and the video games of this built-in system.
Machine gun.